Imagine having a time machine, but there's a catch. You can only go back exactly 1 second. Just one. Single second. Sounds useless? Well, what if I told you that traveling back just 1 second could break the fundamental laws of physics, create impossible paradoxes, and might actually reveal the deepest secrets of our universe? Welcome to Inquiro, where we explore the mind-bending mysteries of science. Let's set the scene. You're sitting in your room right now watching this video. The time is exactly 3:47:23 p.m. You press a button on your hypothetical time machine, and suddenly, you're back at 3:47:22 p.m. 1 second doesn't seem like much, right? In that time, light travels about 300,000 kilometers. That's 3/4 of the way to the moon. Your heart beats once. A hummingbird flaps its wings 80 times. But in the world of physics, this 1 second journey backwards creates problems that would make Einstein's head spin. The first question we need to ask is, what exactly happens to you during this 1 second rewind? You've probably heard of the grandfather paradox, the classic time travel dilemma where someone goes back and accidentally prevents their own birth. But our 1 second scenario creates what we could call the micro-grandfather paradox. Here's the thing, even in 1 second, you're constantly making tiny decisions. Maybe you blinked. Maybe you shifted slightly in your chair. Maybe you took a breath. When you travel back, do you remember making these micro-decisions the first time around? According to recent research by physicist Lorenzo Gavesino, this creates a fascinating problem. If you remember your future actions, you might unconsciously change them. You might not blink at exactly the same moment, or you might hold your breath slightly longer. These tiny changes could cascade into larger differences. But here's where it gets really weird. If you change anything, even something as small as the position of a single atom in your body, you've created a paradox. The version of you that traveled back is slightly different from the version that originally experienced that second. Now let's dive into the physics. According to Einstein's general relativity, time travel backwards requires something called a closed timelike curve. Essentially, a path through space-time that loops back on itself. Recent research from the University of Queensland suggests that such loops might be possible, but they come with strict rules. Physicists Germain Tobar and Fabio Costa proved mathematically that time travel can be locally free, meaning you can make small changes while still being globally consistent. But here's the catch. Creating even a 1 second time loop would require enormous amounts of energy. We're talking about warping space-time itself. To bend time by just 1 second, you'd need the energy equivalent of several nuclear bombs, concentrated into a space smaller than an atom. And that's assuming you could even survive the journey. The gravitational forces required to create such a distortion would likely tear apart every atom in your body long before you could press that time machine button. But let's say you somehow survive and successfully travel back 1 second. Now you face what physicists call the information paradox. Think about it. When you travel back, you bring with you the memory of what happened in the next second. You know exactly what's about to occur, but this creates information that seemingly comes from nowhere. What philosophers call a bootstrap paradox. Recent quantum experiments have shown something fascinating. In 2019, Russian physicists actually succeeded in reversing time for a quantum particle, making an electron's state evolve backwards for a fraction of a second. But the probability of this happening naturally, 1 in 10 billion trillion. The researchers calculated that even if you observed 10 billion electrons every second for the entire lifetime of the universe, 13.7 billion years, you'd only see this time reversal happen once. And even then, the particle would only travel back 1/10 billionth of a second. This suggests that our universe has built-in protection against time travel paradoxes, what Stephen Hawking called the chronology protection conjecture. So how do we resolve these paradoxes? One solution comes from quantum mechanics and the many worlds interpretation. According to this theory, when you travel back 1 second, you don't actually return to your original timeline. Instead, you create a new branch in the multiverse. The original timeline, where you disappeared, continues to exist independently. In this new timeline, there are now 2 versions of you. The original version living through that second for the first time, and the time-traveling version with memories of the future. Both timelines are equally real, existing in parallel dimensions. This elegantly resolves the paradox, but it comes with a cost. You can never return to your original timeline. Your 1-second journey backwards has effectively exiled you to a parallel universe that's almost identical to your own, but not quite. So, what if you could travel back in time for just 1 second? The answer is both fascinating and sobering. That single second would require impossible amounts of energy, create unsolvable paradoxes, and potentially exile you to a parallel universe forever. It turns out that even the smallest journey through time reveals the deepest mysteries of physics. Time isn't just a measurement. It's a fundamental feature of reality that protects itself from paradoxes. What other impossible scenarios would you like us to explore? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more mind-bending journeys into the mysteries of science.